Hey everybody, it's me. It's your stepfather. I hate to bring it to you this way, but I'm your mom. I'm just blowing that whore's back out, just left, right, and center. How are you guys? I'm very tired. We're doing a little bit of a more stripped back setup. I'm sitting down. If I did this correctly, there's a fireplace behind me. I'm beat, guys. I'm tired. I'm really, really tired. I just flew in from Paris, France, and boy, are my arms tired. I just went on I probably just had the greatest week of my life, honestly. So far. The best week of your life so far. I went to France. I was supposed to go to Japan a while ago, and the country of Japan said no. Flat. They told me not to come, not to show up. So, I want to travel. There's a thing inside of me that, as silly as it may seem, getting a stamp in my passport and my little booklet, John, means so much to me. It's so silly. I had to fly from Colorado to Chicago, from Chicago to Paris, where I got my first stamp, and then I had to fly from Paris to Munich, from Munich back to Colorado, which is tight, right? But the Munich one doesn't count, just because I didn't leave the airport. But still, it's nice to have it. It's cool to kind of bookend the trip with the stamps there. I had a great time. I had a fantastic time. We were actually Lamp and I and a bunch of other people, but Lamp and I did what we always do when we have a game night, and we talked for an excessive amount of time about anything, really. And it's mostly us talking about the differences between London and the US. And we got to a point where we started talking about the Euro, and we started talking about other countries, and I didn't want to lead on that I was leaving, because I wanted to kind of keep it on the DL. Not like in a bad way or anything, just, I don't know, It was my first trip solo. I went completely by myself. I met my aunt. I didn't know I had an aunt in Paris. And then when I get there, right before I leave, I should say, I'm getting these emails from my cousin and my aunt, and they're like, hey, you have an aunt there. Go say hello. Here's her email, this and that. So I had a wonderful time. There's probably going to be a picture or two somewhere on screen of what I took, of what I did. I ate like a king. I just, it's everything I ever wanted. I walked. That's what I did. I think when you go to a new city, the first thing you should do is just walk around. I don't care what city it is. If you're in Manhattan, if you're in Denver, if you're in Chicago, if you're in Dallas, if you're in Montreal, Quebec, Paris, if you're in London, any city that you go to, just walk. I didn't really have, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and doing that outside of food. I just kind of wanted to walk around with a baguette, and I did. I want to talk about this because, it's my podcast. I just got back, so I don't want to be that guy who's like, bonjour, oui, baguette, puedo ir al baño. I don't want to be that dude. But, I had a great time. And, the food there is delicious, and, it's all natural. Well, it feels all natural and healthy, and, I'm not a sweets guy per se, but that country, those people can do such, oh my God, with strawberries and lemons. Oh my God, just the first meal I had, if it wasn't a Michelin star, I'd be surprised. It was this beautiful blood sausage. I had this beautiful pate. I had this beautiful, meat pie. I had this beautiful, delicious, just all over delicious. This, shredded pork and, a red pepper paste, a sauce, very thick and creamy, delicious, out of this world. And for the aspiring traveler out there, the Eiffel Tower is incredibly easy to find. I never went looking for her. I found her. She was just there. I was just walking. The first time I found her, I had been there. I was jet lagged. I got there like 9 a.m. By the time I got to the town that I was living in, the little like area that I was living in, it was, I don't know, like 11, 12, 1, somewhere around there. And I was like, all right, I'm starving. I took a quick little nap. And like that was going through my head the whole time. It was like, fires and missiles, but I'm late tired. Then take a nap. Send fires and missiles. Like that I was thinking about the whole time. Like, I tried not to get Frenched fries, but like it's just a thing there. Frites is just the thing that it comes with stuff. Need a lot of burgers, I noticed. Maybe that's just the area I was in, whatever. I got, and like the first, as soon as I got fries, the first thing I thought was, you got these fries all the way from French? Like that. And when I landed, the first song I listened to was Fellas in Paris, the Jay-Z and Kanye song. What I really wanted to do was post a picture of like my ticket and be like, I'm about to find out who's in Paris. But I didn't. I kept it on the DL. I kept it on the low. I had a great time. I really did. So what I'm saying is, I just was looking for the market. I'm looking for the street market, because it's Europe. That's the thing. You go, let me get this much bread. Let me get that much supasada. Like, that's what I mean, more or less. So I'm looking for the market. I can't find the market, and I'm looking for it, and the GPS says that it closes in like an hour, maybe less, and to keep going straight. And I see that I'm like walking on a main road by like an important building or something, and it's like road closed, only car traffic. Okay. So I turn left, I walk for like 2 minutes, and then there's the Eiffel Tower in front of me. And I was like, oh wow. Just didn't mean to find her, wasn't going to look for her till the next day, and just found her. I went to the Louvre, because you're supposed to. That's like the only real touristy thing I feel like I did on purpose, was go to the Louvre. Their metro system is fantastic. Fantastic. Like, it's super simple. It's not overly complex. There's like 13 or 14 lines. They're color coded. Once you get it, you got it, and you're good. It's great. Just fantastic. I made a friend named Namgal, a Tibetan Frenchman, who met him in the wildest of circumstances. I just said, I saw him, I was like, yo, he was carrying a skateboard, and I was practicing, was hoping to find somebody who had a skateboard, and so I don't remember how to say it. It's either a P or an F, un kickflip, is do a kickflip in French. And I see him, and I say it, and and he looks at me, I was like, kickflip. And he goes, you like skateboarding? I was like, yeah. He goes, all right, add me on Instagram. I was like, okay. So I like hand this dude my phone, don't know him. Hand him my phone. He's like, yeah. I used to skate on crutches, and I have surgery on my ankle, this and that. And I'm talking to him, and he's like, what are you doing in Paris? And I was like, well, I've been here a couple days, and I'm actually, it was my day, the next day I was leaving. And I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow, and I'm just walking around. He's like, that's why you're here? I was like, I just want to get lost in the city, pal. That's it. I don't even know this dude's name at this point, right? So he's like, if you like skating, I'm going to the skate park. Why don't you come with me? And I'm like, yeah. Yes, of course. Like, that's what I want. That's absolutely what I want. And we're walking, and he's like, so why else are you here? And I was like, what else are you doing today? I was like, well, I got to go to McDonald's. I don't want to go to McDonald's, but like, it's one of the U.S.'s own, it's movies and fast food is what the U.S. has exported out into the world. And he's asking me, he's like, have you ever seen Pulp Fiction? I'm like, yes, that's the reason why I want it, because in the beginning of Pulp Fiction, when John Travolta's like, I just got back from France. You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France? They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese. They have the metric system. They don't know what the fuck a quarter pounder, they don't know what a fucking quarter pounder is. So what do they call it? A Royale with cheese. What do they call the Big Mac? They just call it Le Big Mac. What do they have at Burger King? Is it Le Whopper? I don't know. I didn't go to Burger King. Like, I remember that vividly. Like, I watched that movie so many times. So he's like, I was like, yes. And then like I realized, I go, hey pal, I don't even know your name. And he's like, oh, I'm Namgal. And I didn't hear him correctly at first. And that's not a name you hear every day. So then I'm like, I'm Vince, whatever. We keep walking. We get into McDonald's. He's trying to buy me food. And he asked the lady who worked there, he's like, do you guys have the Royale, in French, do you guys have the Royale with cheese? And she's like, no, not of this one. So we dip. And he's like, come on, we'll go to the skate park. There's a McDonald's right around the corner. So he takes me to this beautiful skate park with all this beautiful graffiti. He shows me a couple tricks that he can do. But like I said, he hurt his ankle, so I didn't want him to push himself. And then we went to McDonald's and he bought me dinner. And the sweetest guy, my pal Namgal, there's probably footage of him or a picture of him, something. And we talked in McDonald's for like 2.5 hours. We talked about France and the US and money and politics and what music is good right now in France and what shoes are popular amongst the kids. And what I thought was funny is I said, I notice a lot of people wear Adidas. And he looks at me and goes, Adidas? I go, oh, I'm sorry, Adidas. That's just an American thing. They say Adidas here. There's little things. I rode a Lime scooter around the city. I had a fantastic time. I really did. I'm happy that I get to share this with you guys in some capacity because it's, you know, like, in a weird way, in a, like, one-sided relationship side way, I kind of check in with you guys, but you guys never check in with me unless you're really in the Discord. So join the Discord. So I also took a ton of footage. I took a ton of pictures. I want to do something with it. I'm not quite sure what yet. I have a few ideas, but I'm not quite sure. It was just a fantastic, beautiful time. It was the beautiful weather. The place I was staying in, they don't have screens in Europe, and I don't believe in South America. That's like a US thing. And just sleeping with the window open at night in France, in a beautiful little chateau with the rain, puts a smile on a man's face. Really does. I finally got to eat things that I've always wanted to eat. And I mean, like, I walked. Like, I walked a lot. Like, if I wasn't walking, like, 8 miles a day, I wasn't walking. Like, one day, I walked so far, I almost walked out of the city before I realized where I was. And was like, I need to turn back now. Just go. Just go. That's my advice to anybody who wants to travel. Go. Leave. Get on a plane, even if it's by yourself. Like, don't go to Syria. Not that there's anything wrong with Syria, but any country that's currently, like, in a war. Like, don't go to Ukraine right now, obviously. But, like, go. Enjoy. Have a fine, swell, fun time. I believe in you. I know you can do it. Now, if you're a woman, it's a little different, I would imagine. Because, you know, men just want to take advantage of tourists. But, like, there's so many things that I didn't realize you can do outside of the US that you can't do here. Like, I just wanted to go into a smoke shop just to see what it looked like, just see what a head shop looked like in France versus in the US. And just to see, like, I bought a Cuban cigar. Now, if you're in America, you know what that means. You haven't been able to get those since the 60s because of the Kennedys. But I had a Cuban. And I smoked a Cuban, and it was great. And part of me wishes I would have bought, like, a case and brought it back. Because I could have sold them for a lot. But, I mean, in Minecraft. But still, like, just to have a box of Cubans, 20 Cubans, and I could just wake up one morning where I don't feel like doing anything and spark up a Cuban, sit back take a walk around the block, and just enjoy. That's what my entire trip was just walking and eating. My French is atrocious. I didn't realize when I would walk into a place and say Français mal, what I was saying was the French are bad, not my French is bad. If I would have said like me Français mal, maybe Français me mal, French me bad. But, like, you know, it was great. I had steak tartare. I couldn't find escargot. Really wanted escargot. I brought a bottle of wine home, a nice Chardonnay. Just a great time. And, like, I don't talk like this, and I'm not one of those people, but the women are beautiful. Just unapologetically beautiful. Elegant. And suave. And sexy. And, like, they're not trying. And I think that's what's so attractive. And, like, nobody wore makeup. I don't like makeup. I just don't. Like, why you gotta lie? If you're ugly, just be ugly. Says the guy with a beard. Beards are just makeup for men. But still, like, Oh my God. And I'm not like one of these people who are just like, yeah, women are for me. I want to look at them and touch it. Like, that's not, you know, keep that away from me. Like, I hate in a movie when there's like a sex scene. Like, I can't stand it because I'm just like, why does this have to be here? If it's not like a romantic comedy, like in The Batman, I think we can spoil The Batman. I think it's been some time. I do have a Kyle and Vince likes that I have to edit for that and Sonic 2. It's coming, I promise. I'm very tired. But there was like a part where Batman kisses Catwoman, which I get it. That's canon. That's in the stories. But I'm like, does this need to happen? Does this really need to happen? Yeah. Beautiful people. And everyone was just nice. Like, every once in a while you get someone who's kind of a bitch. Like, I went to a tobacco shop to buy more Cubans, and the lady like was like, yeah, this one's Cuban. And I was like, no, it isn't. I could just tell, because like the first one I went into, it said Honduras, Nicaragua, Cuba. So, you know, like Hondurans, Nicaraguan, they're good. They're not bad. But like, you know, I want a Fidel. I want a Chavez. Like, I want something that's like, you know, the real shit, the good shit, the best shit. Like, that's what I want. And I didn't, she just heard, she heard accent of an American, very little French, and I went, thank you, and I left. But they're very nice. And, like, that's the thing is, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, the French are smelly, and the French are mean. They're not mean. You know, imagine if someone came into my country and they were trying to speak to me and they do 6 words like I did. I get a little upset, too. I understand. If France has their own stock market, though, I would not invest in deodorant there. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because it's not like everybody stunk. It was just everybody had like a musk to them, if that makes sense. Like, as soon as I got off the plane, it was like mingling amongst the people. I was like, oh, there it is. Speaking of smells, I had the best cheese I ever had in my entire life. I'm a cheese fella. Like, I love cheese. I can't eat it. My body doesn't like it. But I love goat. Oh my God. Do I love goat cheese? And I had a goat cheese that was so stinky and so gooey and runny and spreadable and soft and just a beautiful hue and had such delicious amounts of mold in it. And I spent like $8 and my aunt's like, that's a lot. And I was like, no, it isn't. This is better than sex. And it was. And it was this, Jesus Christ. I my aunt's having a conversation with me as I'm like spreading cheese on a baguette at a cafe we were at. And I take a bite and she's talking to me. And I looked at her, I was like, you need to stop talking. I was like, you need to be quiet for just a moment. I am having a conversation with a god. I don't know which one, but he's talking right now. And he's like, you like that goat cheese, don't you? And I'm like, oh my God, yes. Yes, I do. And then it melted. It was a very hot day and it melted. I still ate it. Like, I'm not a heathen. I didn't get rid of it. But like, I like left it out. Because, you know, it's cheese and it's like, you could leave it out, but like not for super long. Like, you should refrigerate it after a while. But like, I left it out for a bit. And like, ants started getting into the place, which was entirely my fault. And then I like swept them out once I realized it was the cheese and like threw the bag out outside because I had all the garbage inside. Getting off track. I had soupasada, a fresh baguette, it's delicious goat cheese, and it was by far the best sandwich. The only thing it was missing, maybe, was a little honey and a little olive oil. And when I was actually on the phone with someone from back home when I brought that up, and they were like, don't get the honey. Don't bring honey back. And I was like, why? And they were like, they read something that said if you eat something honey-wise, like eat something with something, in an area you're not familiar with, you could have a severe allergic reaction because of the way the bees pollinate is different from where you're from. Never heard that, but it made sense when I heard it, so I went, okay, I won't. But, like, I found Bear Bricks, which is just, like, a thing that probably only me cares about. It's these art toys, these Japanese art toys. Can't find them in the States, and they're, like, $15 each if I want to buy them. Found them for, like, $8 or $9. Got the ones I wanted. Had a beautiful time. I really did. I don't really have much to talk about other than my trip. Like I said, I didn't want to. I like that I have this that I can check in with you guys, but I also didn't want to just not have an episode. I wanted to have a full episode recorded and edited before I left, but surprise, surprise, leaving the country is a surprising amount of work. And I guess I just was very overwhelmed with packing, getting ready, making sure. Like, I had to have a COVID test to leave the country, but then I never got checked for COVID. Like, I got the test, I got the paper, I had the thing that said you do not have COVID. In the Denver airport, nobody said anything to me. In the Chicago airport, nobody ever said anything to me. In Paris, in customs, nobody ever said anything to me. Leaving, I got checked in Paris, and I got checked in Munich, and I was already home when I was in Denver, so it didn't really matter. So, go out in the world and see it a bit. I think that's a problem with the US. It's so big, and it's so expensive to travel. But do it if you get the chance, even if just to Mexico or Canada, or just if you live in France, if you get to go to Germany, or if you get to go to Italy or Spain or Poland, just to go. And my aunt said this when I made friends with Namgal. She said, when you travel alone, you aren't. And it kind of stuck with me because, like, even when I was leaving, I left my Airbnb, took the train, got to the bus stop, and turns out in Paris, the buses were on strike. And the ladies spoke English that I was speaking to, and they're like, oh my God, they're apologizing to me. They're like, I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing. This isn't how we normally are, but this is somewhat of a normal thing at this point. And like they didn't want me to think of France as anything less than what my experience was. And they were very, very kind to me, very polite. When she said the bus isn't coming for an amount of time, she said, if you want to split a cab, we can. She didn't know me. Same with Namgal. They didn't know me. But they were nice to me. They didn't have to be. That was my biggest takeaway from it. Is when you're alone, you really aren't. And that's something that I've been kind of dealing with my whole life, I think. Is that feeling of being alone. And that feeling of, nobody's there. But someone may be. It's probably someone you never expected. A dude with a skateboard who you just wanted to see do a kickflip. Or some nice ladies at the bus stop. Maybe somebody you work with. Maybe a family member or a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Maybe. Who knows? Before we get out of here, I'd like to thank the Patreon real quick. Thank you guys. Because of you, I continue to do the show. Make sure you're in the new Discord. Because if you're in the new Discord, and you're part of the Film Live Before a Studio Audience tier, you can see these episodes recorded live. Baby. Starting from the top, we have to thank the OG Noah. Thank you, Noah. After Noah, we have to thank Danny. Thank you, Danny. After Danny, it's Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. And last, but certainly not least, we have to thank TP. Thank you, TP. Now, before we get out of here, I will hit you with one bit of Bethesda news, some lore of the company or of their game. Starfield got pushed back. Are you surprised? So did Redfall. Are you surprised? That's the main thing. I've heard a couple people say, yeah, I'm not surprised. I've seen a couple things on Twitter people saying that they've lost all interest in the game. All hype is gone. But my whole thing is, I don't believe a game is ever coming out when the game is coming out. And if COVID didn't happen, we probably would have gotten Starfield this November. But we're not. We're not getting Redfall whenever we were supposed to get Redfall either, which is fine. Polish the game up more. I just hope we get to see a little gameplay or something soon and maybe a new release date. I'm guessing it's gonna be about April, May of next year. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know, though. I could be wrong. I probably am. But we will be doing in the Discord a little watch-along party for the Xbox Summer Game Event thing. Kyle's hosting both of them. There's 2 different events in there. Make sure in the Discord to check them out. Starfield is that game that I'm going to play. And I don't know how much time I'm going to put into it, because I put about 100 hours into Skyrim, and I remember going, I'm good. I tried to get into it several times after that, but I couldn't. It's not the game's fault. It's not my fault. It just didn't click. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful time. Again, I'm sorry this is a shorter episode, a lot shorter, but I'm just exhausted. And like I said earlier in the year, I need to be easier on myself when it comes to these episodes. It's stressful not knowing what to say when all I really have to talk about is my trip and I don't have anything else prepared. And I haven't asked the lore question in a while because of everything moving and grooving and shaking. So next week should be more of a normal episode. Thank you for being here. Intro music by Shane Ivers, silvermansounds.com/free-music to get all of his hits. Throw that /featherduster to get the intro to the show. Follow me, the show, and Kyle all on Twitter. Links below. Discord link below. Thank you again to the Patreon. Thank you to the Redbubble, where you can support in a smaller monetary way. I love you. I hope you're well. I hope you're excited about something. I hope you're not envious. I hope you're not jealous. I hope the smiles are flowing freely. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Atomic Radio Hour Podcast. A Ghoulman Entertainment production.